Hello, welcome to Reality Check. I'm Jamie Sargent. Today we decided to take the show outside. It's such a beautiful and glorious day here in Houston, as you can see. And you probably noticed too, it's just me. You're stuck with me today. Zack's on vacay. But at least my words won't be in jeopardy of being spoken over. So maybe I can get my point across, which is a great thing because I want to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. Today I want to talk about connections and making a difference. How sexual violence in the Congo may be connected to laptops and cell phones. How the genocide in Darfur is connected to oil. How making a sound is connected to making a difference. We all have different things that we may like to campaign for. Different charities, homelessness, orphans, starvation, genocide, things of different nature, whether it be here at home or abroad. But unfortunately, for some abroad, they don't have as much as Zack and I like to sit up here and talk about the recession and economic woes and debate different solutions, there are those around us who do not have the freedom to speak up and say what they would like to do about their situation or even tell you about it. So those people I would always like to be a voice for, if possible, until they can get a voice of their own. So first, I like to talk about one of the first connections that I mentioned, for example, how you may be wondering when I say how laptops and cell phones are connected to sexual violence in the Congo. It seems a large stretch, I'm sure, but all of us have our cell phones. We love our cell phones, I know I do, and we love our laptops. And a lot of the materials that are used to make those items come from the Congo. Might not have known that, but it's true. It's a large source of monetary income for them. And this has created a war among different groups who has completely destroyed the country. And unfortunately, when you have working with a poor country, third world country, such as the Congo, sexual violence is used to create power among different groups, and it's geared towards women and children, and acted out in heinous ways. Unfortunately, we read different stories about women who, well, I'm not going to get too graphic, but I will at the end of this tell you to visit a couple of sites and read about it for yourself. I think being informed is the first step to making a change. So that's one way that laptops and cell phones are connected. Basically, recycling our laptops when we're finished with them and recycling our cell phones can help end that war. It can help to put a dent in it, at least, when we recycle our own items here and we use them for the newer and better phone, be it the Evo, iPod, whatever you like. Just recycling them can make a big difference to others around the world. So something to keep in mind. Recycling is a good thing. Also, I mentioned how the genocide in Sudan, or Darfur, which is the western part of Sudan, is connected to oil. So this is the connection right here. China's largest oil project is in Sudan, and China supplies the Janjaweed, which are devils on horseback, or the Arab militia. Those are other names they are also known as, with weapons. They're the largest importer. Sudan is actually the largest importer of Chinese weapons. So they have a great influence on the Sudanese government to actually stop the war in Sudan. But being that they're a good resource or a large resource for oil, that's not happening. So a lot of people, millions of people, have been displaced and killed in heinous ways. And again, you have sexual violence there among women and children. That's spreading into Chad for relief to get away, but it's an awful thing. And that's another connection there of how genocide is connected to oil, unfortunately. And again, I'll have a link for this at the end of this where you can go and visit to get more information. So, I've said how making a sound is connected to making a difference. In this day and age, especially at this time during this recession, we may not have the money to send to different charities or to send overseas as we wish, because we're using all of our income right now to save our homes or help our families or feed our families and pay bills. So I completely understand that. But it's not just about money. Sometimes it's just about informing others. A lot of people may not know about the things that I just discussed earlier. And it's really upsetting that all of these awful things and all of these awful events are happening and we're all ignorant to it, that we're kept ignorant to it to an effect. Our media reports them in small blurbs. Some may say that, you know, at this time people don't want to hear such negative news when we're going through such a hard time ourselves, but I think people would still like to be informed. I refuse to believe that we just do not want to help other people. Especially when it can be something very simple as just telling another person. By getting other people involved and informing them and making them passionate about a subject, you never know what may happen. A few years ago, when I first found out about this genocide that was going on in Sudan, and read extensively about it myself and educated myself on it because I was ignorant to what had been going on, I felt helpless. I didn't have the money to send over there. I'm not some superpower or government who can just make a great change. I can't tell China, hey, stop doing this, and tell our government to tell China to stop doing this, especially when we're borrowing money from China also. So it puts us in a hard situation. But, you know, no one likes bad publicity. No one does, especially governments. No government does. And you'd be amazed at just how powerful your voice can be. Just by telling another person and getting them passionate about a subject to speak up against it, to write letters or send emails to their congressmen saying that you have to do something about this, to protest when things like in the '08 Olympics came around to China, they were awarded with the Olympics. If there had been a large enough protest, you know, it may have influenced them to motivate the Sudanese government to help end the genocide in their country. There are a lot of different ways to go about this. I took a very different route, although I do have my marketing company. On the side, I'm now a filmmaker. And I became a filmmaker through my passion to help the people in Sudan, which is probably a weird road to take. But for me, I just felt so helpless. I just felt like I had to get the word out there. When I would talk about it with different people, people weren't informed, and that just made me even more angry. So I wanted to create something that would make people listen. So I came up with an idea to make a film. It's called Color of Sound, and if you'd like to check it out, I have a link to a Facebook page where you can read more about it. However, I'm not here to campaign about my film. I'm here to talk about people around the world who need help and how you can help them through just using your voice. There are different organizations who are trying to relieve a lot of the atrocities or bring relief to some of the people in the Congo through different sources of aid and get people out of there, especially a lot of the women who are suffering on both sides of the camps who are against each other and fighting. It's really a no-win situation for anyone, for everyone there. There are different charities and organizations who are helping them, not just through monetary ways, but by spreading the word and becoming an activist in your own community if you would like to do that. But getting involved and getting other people involved is one of the best ways to help people, to tell their stories, because they can't tell it themselves. The same goes for the genocide in the Sudan. But you don't have to campaign on things that I'm passionate about. I just encourage you to campaign on things that you may be passionate about. We all should be passionate about helping others. And I believe that all of us, being that we are human, deep down inside, even when we're bogged down with bills and family issues and different things that may be bothering us at that time, that we still have that human part of us wants to see people do well, wants to help others. And so just by helping these organizations, by spreading the word, signing petitions, things of that nature. Helps people to know that there are all of these people who are really interested in this subject and that something needs to be done about it. Because if it's just a few percentage, it's going to be overlooked, which means those people will be overlooked. And we can't let that happen. So I motivate you to make a change and make a sound. So that pretty much concludes today's show. But as I mentioned earlier, if you would like to be more informed on some of the topics that I mentioned and various others, or just want to check out some different types of organizations and charities where you can go to make a donation or lend a helping hand or just lend your voice, please visit my Facebook page, Color Sound. Just type that in and I'll have a listing of different topics and organizations and charities that you can go and click on and get all of those great things. We'll also make sure we put it up on the screen. Just remember, making a difference, make a change, make a sound. Thanks so much for joining us with Reality Check. I'm signing off as Jamie. Have a great day. I hope you're outside today, by the way. It's a beautiful day. Bye-bye.